All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast. Good Monday evening to each and every last one of you out there in Facebook land and YouTube land. Thank you for joining us here on the hottest podcast here in the Tri County area of South Florida. We are joined here this evening with Mr. Mike Whalen. He is the co CEO and the co owner of Paragon Theaters uh, with the new location right here in beautiful Deerfield Beach, Florida. He's joining us here this evening. Welcome, Mike Walden.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And we've been hearing so much about you, talking to the newly the commissioner-elect, Mr. Tom Plout. He's been telling us so much about the new Paragon Theater out on West Hillsborough and Power Line Road and the Deerfield Mall area out there. So before we get started, Mr. Whalen, I'm sorry.
Whalen.
Just
Whalen.
go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all about you and whatever you would like to for everyone to know about you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Mike Whalen, I'm the co-CEO and co-owner of Paragon Theaters with my partner, Mike Wilson. We've been at this a bunch of years, Paragon. I was the former CEO of Movico Theaters, the Boca Palace out in Boca and the Egyptian Theater in Davie. And Mike and I left Movico in 2009 to form Paragon. And Paragon's business plan is like, this old house, you take this old theater, you renovate it and put some money and love into it and some good customer service. And you hope people come, and they've come. And everything we've done on these renovations have been successful. We've done about 15 of them over the course of 15, 16 years at it. And the most recent one, of course, we'll talk more about it. But the most recent one, obviously, is the Paragon Deerfield Beach, which means a lot to myself and Mike Wilson. We had owned the theater back in 2012, 2013. We did a full renovation of it back when. Took it from about $1 million of sales to about $5 million of sales. Okay. We had sold it to a Mexican company called Sinopolis, and then they sort of left, and DB Cinemas came in, and the same equipment and the same stuff that we put in 2012 was there through all the years. And the theater closed about 9 months ago. And we came in, Kimco, which we have a long-term relationship with Kimco, who owns the shops at Deerfield, asked us to come back and redo the theater. $3 million later, and we'll talk about the theater. I think it's the finest movie-going experience you're going to find in Broward and Palm Beach County. Everyone has the bogey of iPic and the Boca Palace. I would argue, even though maybe a little bit subjective, but I would argue that this theater has more amenities, more things going on in it, including an IMAX, which are very rare. There's not many IMAXs in this area, including an IMAX. That makes it the finest movie-going experience in Broward and Palm Beach for sure.
Well, that's good, man. We're happy to have you have the Paragon Theaters here in Deerfield Beach because, like you said, it was closed for a while. And I remember when I was working overnight, and I remember when the Clumps first came out, and I wanted to see that movie so bad, and I worked at night, and I didn't have a chance to go out there, and I went out there for the matinee, and I really enjoyed it. It was very nice back then. This was like maybe back in 2009, I believe.
Yep, that was even before us. That was it was originally a general cinema theater back when.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to go there all the time myself back in the days.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hear about, speaking of matinee, will you all be having matinees for at a special discounted rate if you go early? Do you have any rates for seniors?
Oh, yes, great question. So before I say that, we do have other two locations, one in Coral Springs and one in Davie. So it's 3 of them now with Deerfield. So we sort of surround the Broward market. And we're locally owned and operated. We're up against the big guys that are owned by big foreign companies and big movie theaters, and it's a really cool success story to be locally owned and competing with those guys. As for Deerfield's pricing, it's a little bit for everything. There's IMAX, which is a floor to ceiling screen, amazing sound. If anyone's been to an IMAX, it's an immersive experience. We have a thing called Access 15 Extreme Theater. The screen is actually tilted 15 degrees from a recliner standpoint to give you a better viewing. And we have this thing called Lux Box, which are the best seats in the house. Think of a private showing in your own booth where you use your phone and you can actually order food and we'll bring it to you a dine-in service in some of the seats called Lux Box. But the pricing is the most important thing. Tuesdays is $5 Tuesdays. So all tickets are $5 on Tuesdays, value day. Matinees are discounted $2 to $3 depending on the day and the time that's going on. And we do have senior and child pricing even below that. And a lot of the programming will be catered towards those markets with a lot of family programming and a lot of sort of artsy independent films as well. And the biggest thing is we're well aware of the Brazilian population in Deerfield, and we will be doing a Brazilian film festival to come in the summer. And so we're trying to cater to all of the residents of the Deerfield, Pompano, Boca, Coconut Creek, Parkland, all of that stuff to that audience and coming to Deerfield Theater.
Okay, and I heard you mention the booth that you can order food from and have the food delivered and everything. Now, how much is that booth going to cost?
So you pick the pricing. So you as the consumer, you get to choose your experience. So if you want to come in and get a regular seat, it's at night it's $11.50 and the matinee is $9.50. If you want a Lux Box seat, which is what you're talking about, a Lux Box seat, you don't have to buy it, but that would be $4 more, and that is entitled you to the dine-in service. The Deluxe Box seats are full recliner, heated seats, tray tables, and your own private booth. So if you think of a sporting event where you have these luxury booths, etc.,
Yes.
It's akin to that. There is no such theater seat in the market. People may be in the market know iPick a little bit. This would put the iPick seat to shame. It's much better, much more plush than even iPick, and it's at a price that's not gouging. iPick is $20 or $25, whatever the heck iPick charges these days, and for a movie, this is traditional movie pricing. I'm very sensitive to wanting people to come out. It's an escape movies. Times are a little bit tough for people's dollars, and we want to make sure that it's inclusive, not exclusive, and getting people and family to come out to the movies and enjoy the wonder of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about, I know when I've gone to the movies in the past and taken my girlfriend, and everything, the women are always complaining about being cold every time. Oh, it's freezing in here. I need your jacket and everything. So I want to ask you, what about the temperature inside the theater? What temperature do you keep the air conditioning inside the?
That's fair. That's
inside
fair.
the
It's cooler, right? I mean, you don't want people sweating in Florida coming in. But I'll tell you, you're going to bring your girlfriend. You got these Lux Box seats. They're pods. The middle arm comes up. You both have tray tables for wine, beer. We have full alcohol, full liquor, full menu. We'll talk about pizzas in a second. But the arm comes up. So if she's cold, it's your opportunity to go snuggle her, man. You have the snuggle opportunity. We're trying to create an experience that's good for everyone.
That's right.
That's a great answer. That's a good answer for all the single guys out there that's still out on the dating
married
scene
folks
out there.
Date night. Yes. And women pick the movies. It's funny. Most of the time when I first started in the business, there was a lot of teenage boys. When we had the movie we had the Boca Palace. Now it's a lot of women, moms and otherwise. They pick the movie for their kids and they pick the movie for their boyfriend or husband. They are the dominant decision maker most times as it relates to movies.
Yes.
Now, Commissioner Tom Plout has been really, really pushing your chicken wings and your pizza and your cold beer. So tell us about your chicken wings, your cold beer, and your pizza. I mean, you got to tell us about it.
Well, we got beer on tap, right? We got Stella, Coors Light, some Floridian. We got some local stuff. We got a full bar. The pizza, which is called My Pie, is made fresh. We make our dough fresh. Everything is fresh. It's not like frozen pizza or anything like that with the chicken wings. We are still going through a process, to be fair, to get the Broward Fire and a permit to get that going. So when you go today, it's not activated. Hopefully within a week or two, we'll get that all activated. But yeah, it's a full menu. Potato skins, pretzel bites, homemade pizza, chicken wings, chicken tenders, all of that. So it's a full fare of food. It's not your traditional just, popcorn, candy, soda.
Okay. Yeah. Is the pizza New York style, Chicago style, or is it just
it's Paragon style. It's
Paragon. Right. You got your own
it's
pizza.
a nice crust. It's somewhere between a thin crust and a Chicago style. So it has a crust to it, but it's not overtly doughy, if that's the right word. But it's really homemade and it's really good. And we've gotten a lot of compliments on it. We've had it in the Ridge down in Davie, or theater in Davie, for a while, and it's a big seller to the people coming out.
Is that the theater off of State Road 84?
It is. So we fixed that up. It's the State Road 84 theater off of Pine Island, and the Coral Square one is the one off of Atlantic and Ramblewood by the BJ's there, et cetera, and the Dicks, I believe. And they're all fully renovated, so they have all of these things. But I saved the best for last for you guys. So each of these theaters you're gonna like this. Has it called the director's room, a screening room. And so you can come in and rent anything you want. So if both of you wanted to come in and watch Grease or The Godfather, or I don't know what sports fans you guys are, but you want to go watch a Miami Dolphin game or a U game or FSU, you can privately rent this with your friends, very reasonably priced. We could talk about it, where you have a private screening room for 40 of your friends, where you can watch a Dolphin game or Seminoles or I want to use them all, Gators. FAU, whatever your team is or event, you come in and you pick the programming, and it could be rented out for as low as $200 for the room or $250 for the room, depending on the time.
And that comes on first come, first serve basis?
Yep, you call the theater, you reserve it, and if you know a big game is coming up. We had a lot of success. We hosted a lot of the University of Miami football games, the away games last year with the alumni. So it was a big hit because you're seeing something on a 20, 30-foot screen. You got beer coming in, you got wings and pizza, and it's all of your friends. And so, privately you can yell, scream, talk to your friends. It's just watching something on a giant screen for a sporting event.
Right.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Because you just happened to mention the Miami Dolphins. We are a lifelong Miami Dolphin fans. Ever since we can remember, like the age of 4 or 5 years old, remember singing that Miami Dolphin song back in elementary school. So my whole family pretty much is Miami Dolphin fans. So
you can tell from the accent, I grew up in New York, so I'm a Jet fan. So let's just leave the football aside for a second. But we had a lot of the Dolphins come into the Davie Theater at the Ridge, because I guess they stay at, I'm not going to say the hotel, but they stay at one of the hotels that are nearby there for both, even for the home games, the game day before and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember growing up in elementary school, we had a teacher named Miss Perry. She was one of those, she was a big Dolphin fan. She would have you come in her class, and she would have everyone, when the Dolphin wins, she would have you singing the Miami Dolphin fight
song. Yeah, I remember a lot of jet losses in Dolphin Stadium with that song being sung in my ear.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned that room holds up to 40 people.
Up to 40 people.
40 of our best friends, and to come in and watch the game. Of course, I know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask you. So the $200 is just for the room, correct?
That is correct. So if you think of 40 people, that's what is that number? It's $5 a person or something like that.
Yeah. And then you have to order your wings and your beer and everything.
Well,
now all of that
is at a bar or something and doing that. But it's all of that. Or I'm a sports guy, so I'm dominating on sports. But if you had a family birthday party and you wanted to watch one of the old Disney movies or something like that for a birthday party, you do all of that stuff as well, and for kids and stuff like that. It's not just a sports venue.
That's good. Right. Do you have like ice cream? Do you sell ice cream? It's like stuff like that for the kids, or I'm just asking because I have granddaughters that I'd probably like to get some of their friends and maybe have something.
So we do what's called kids trays, right? So that's candy, a popcorn, and a small soda. And this summer we'll be doing summer movies in all the 3 locations for $1 or $2 to a charity. We wrap it around the charity to do morning for the summer when the kids are out to do summer movies for the kids and families, because that's all that stuff's important. How I grew up, and I just want to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy a movie. It's very important to myself and Mike Wilson. We don't don't want to gouge anyone with pricing, and our popcorn prices are cheaper than Regal, and cheaper than Cinemark. And so we try to be as affordable as we can to families, et cetera, because I grew up with movies, and movies, a lot of great memories of me growing up and watching some movies and seeing things. And it's important to us that we try to get as many people socially and demographically into the movies, because it's just a wonderful escape experience.
Right.
I just heard that the Regal actually on Andrews was closing.
Cypress Creek is closing.
Cypress Creek, yeah.
Yep, and the Shadowwood is closing soon. The old Shadowwood, which was a Regal out on 441 in Glades, that's being run on a shoestring today. But Shadowwood is closing.
I used to go to that back in the days.
Yeah, I mean that was the big theater. So when you look at Deerfield, if you live in West Boca, from I'm just picking a demarcation point from like Jog West and Glades South, come to us. I mean, that's your choice. I mean, there's no better experience. This would be your theater of choice to come see. So while Deerfield is our priority, and that's what we want, Deerfield, that's our home. The people in Boca and people in Parkland and Coconut Creek, Pompano, the IMAX usually draws from 10 to 15 miles. There's only, the closest IMAX south to us is all the way down in Fort Lauderdale. It's that museum that's old, and and we have, recliners. So it's the IMAX is the place to see a big movie.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, Michael, how was the industry able to rebound back after COVID in 2020?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I would tell you that last year and this year, you're about, when I say box office dollars, that's number of attendees times ticket price, and how many dollars you generate, not concessions, just on ticket prices. Box office is at 70% of what it was in 2019. And I'm telling you that's here to stay. You may have a great movie year with a great movie slate. Later this year, you got Avatar, and you got Mission Impossible coming out in the summer, Lilo Stitch, some good movies coming out. So that number may come to 80%, in a bad year, it may go to 65%, but that's the new norm. That's where we are as an industry. We are so fortunate at Paragon that we have smaller theaters. So we have 8 screens. The Ridge is 8 screens. Coral Square is 10 screens. Deerfield is 8 screens. That is the perfect box for the world in which we live in today. If you had the old Boca Palace, we ran that. I ran the movie Co Boca Palace over on Glades. That's 20 screens. It's massive. And you don't need that many screens anymore. And so what happens? Cinemark is in there. The attendance isn't what it used to be. You still have a giant rent that you're paying on that space. Things happen. The seats get old. The seats get torn. It's not the same Boca Palace when we had it, where you went up to the premiere. It was the place to be seen. The Boca Palace has gotten old. It's just because Cinemark, the money that you have to reinvest into these boxes to keep the seats, the carpet, all that stuff good, they don't have the money, because it's, the industry is not where it is. So we are very blessed and very fortunate to have all of these theaters, Ridge, Coral, and now Deerfield, all brand new seats, great experiences. And so the industry, I'd like to tell you, and that, hey, we're coming back. We're going to be as good as we were.
Yeah.
You're going to be at 70, 75% of where you are. And that's okay for us. There's a business to be done there. We do a lot of local marketing, a lot of local things. We do some programming. We're going to do some Brazilian programming. We're going to do stuff. Remember the Living Room Theater in Boca? We're going to do some of that programming to come back and bring some of that back as a niche. So you really got to do more programming, be local, than just showing Hollywood movies. The world has really changed from 2019. Not so much of COVID, but because of streaming is really the culprit at this point.
Yeah, and that was definitely one of the questions that I was going to ask you about. How was the role of the movie theater evolving in the world in this day and time of streaming?
It's harder. And so, you can't have an old theater. Like, let's talk about Cypress Creek, why it went out. That's a great example of the Regal in Fort Lauderdale. If you go into the Cypress Creek, it was 20 screens. You go in there. The Regal Magnolia in Coral Springs, you go in there. It's a relic. It looks like you're back in, in 2000 or before 2000. It's the same carpet, the same stuff. same 20 screens, and people just don't want to go to that experience. And so you got to, how do I get you out of your seat when you're watching a streaming series or something else at your home? What do I need to do to get you out? Well, I got to provide good customer service. I got to provide a good projection, a nice seat, a recliner seat, a good menu. I got to find ways to get you out where you see the value of coming out of your home to go see a movie. And that's our opportunity. And we're very blessed and fortunate because we have that opportunity because of where we sit today to compete and to try to get people like yourselves back out of your house into the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm definitely ready to get back out and into, you know, just been, because I kind of got out of it for a while. Like we were saying, that's why I asked that question. With COVID, I had kind of got out of going to the movies, and I'm just excited, especially about the IMAX Paragon, because I remember I've been to the one when it was in Boca, and it was nice. I mean, the experience was nice, and that was like another question too. Like, what were some of the technological enhancements that I know you said the screen earlier, the
extreme screen is a 50, it's our trademark. It's a 15-degree tilted towards your seat, because when you recline, you have a better viewing angle than you would if this theater was straight. And the IMAX, you know, this is a dine-in IMAX, right? So you can go watch a movie in IMAX, have your food delivered to you. The first row, when I go into the IMAX and check out that first row, we got sofa beds. So the first row are like beds, like literally like a sofa bed, because we thought in the first row, if you were down lower and lying on a bed, you have a better visual of the screen. And so it's all the uniqueness of things that we do that our competition doesn't do. But we've had so many people go into the IMAX already and like, oh my God, that first row, that you have sofa beds? I'm like, yeah.
I'll be asleep. I'll be gonna fall asleep, so I have to go to the regular seats. It's already nice. I mean, when you go in there, the atmosphere is always nice. I mean, I heard my brother say earlier that it's cold, but I always wear a long sleeve shirt, kind of like going to the courthouse. You know, the courthouse is gonna be cold, so you wear a long sleeve shirt and maybe a shirt up under it. When I go
fine. I'm fine. I don't have a problem with the AC. It's usually the women that's always cold, you know. So.
Yeah.
And we do see a lot of women bring blankets and things like that and stuff into the movies, which we'd love to, you know, you're going to bring a low friendly blanket and relax with your kids, all for it.
Yeah. And I want to ask you about something that I believe everybody is, you know, it's important, and that people want to know about. When they go to the movies, are they safe? So, you know, some unfortunate incidents that happen around the country with some psychos, Aurora, Colorado. You have some psychos like that want to come and do some unspeakable things, you know. So, what's your? Do you have security on hand, or do you have police detail?
We do. We have off-duty security.
Okay.
And I would tell you, you know, and again, I'm going back. A lot of these theaters that we have are intimate. You know, they're small. It's like the old. Well, you know, it's the old neighborhood theater, right? That's what we do. We're locally owned and operated old neighborhood theater. So when you walk in, you have a sense, even though the theater is new and the lobby's new, you have a sense of nostalgia. You know, going back, and so you don't have these vast, you know, these like Boca Palace, vast hallways, and you know, you're walking down these long hallways, and the building's 100,000 square feet, and you don't know what's going on around you. These are very intimate. All of our theaters have surface parking, so you're not going in a deck or anything like that, parking in a deck and walking through a deck at night, or parking in the back of the theater where you don't know what's going on. You know, the Deerfield Theater is easy access, surface parking, and you come in. Same with Coral, same with Davy. It's all of those things that I think make for a safe experience. But guest safety is totally important to us. You're greeted. We have people. The manager that we have is on the floor. We look as guests come in. You know, you're not allowed to bring bags or things like that or into the theater. So there's no bag policy. So you don't know if someone's carrying something in a bag or something like that.
Yeah.
None of that stuff is allowed. So we try to keep, you know, as the theaters as safe as we can.
What about clear bags?
Clear bags, yes. But you know, no food. Don't do that on me. I see you guys are thinking about that. It's you know, it's no food policy. I'm kidding a little bit, but Yeah, but no, you could bring a clear bag in for sure.
Yeah, because I remember in the old days, I believe it was called the Fox on Sample Road, where the festival
Yes,
flea market is.
Flea market,
Is that? Yeah, I remember back in the days, you used to go there and park, and sometimes it would be so packed you would have to park in the back or whatever. But they would be breaking in your cars out there. And I'm going back now. I'm just going back at least around 1989.
So, I would tell you this, and I don't want to bash the Palace too much, but when we ran the Boca Palace at MovieCo, you think you're in Boca, but there was a lot of car theft that's going on because there's a sheer amounts of people. I mean, the Palace brought so many people in that it brought all of that stuff. But the one thing we insist on every deal that we do with the landlord, whether it be Kimco, JBL, and Ridge, we make sure that the illumination of the lights are satisfactory. So it's one of the things that Mike Wilson, my partner, we check on. The illumination is bright when you go out. It's not these dim lit lights. All the parking's in front of the place where you're going. And you want to create that safe experience because that's important to people these days.
Lighting means everything.
Yeah,
it does. No, it does.
We have a question from one of our viewers. She said, "Good evening, everyone. Are there fundraising opportunities for private screening?" That's for Lawanda, from Lawanda Pack.
Oh man, that's a great question. So we do a lot of charity work at Paragon in all of our theaters. When we did the opening that Tom was at, we wrapped it around a wonderful charity called Sweet Dream Makers, which provides beds for kids and families that don't have beds. I mean, you think of beds as a safety thing when you're a kid, like that's your safe space, right? And these kids don't have beds and stuff. So we raised a good amount of money for Sweet Dream Makers. We've done women in distress with the Morans in the past. I'm a big believer in domestic abuse of women, and it's just awful. We've done some of that. So so if you have a charity and you say, hey, I want to host a charity, all for it. So what we'll do is you pick the price that you think you can charge. We'll program the movie for you, and all we'll do is just take out whatever it is to get the movie from Hollywood. I have to pay for that. We'll take that. But all of the other charity stuff is for your charity, and we'll split even the concession and food with you in some split, and you take home all the money because charities are hugely important to us. And anytime someone wants to do a charity event, we'd be open to it.
Okay, that's great information. And that's great. Yeah. That's great that you do that. Also, Mike, how have you been welcome in the surrounding community? I know Commissioner Platt has been there, but how have you been welcomed by a lot of the other businesses and just the surrounding community in that area? How have you been welcomed?
So all good. I mean, the Deerfield has always been home. I lived there, like I said, for a bunch of years in Deerfield, so it's near and dear to me. My kids lived there and grew up there, and everyone has been great and welcoming. The theater really got, like I said, in Deerfield, got run down. But any of the communities we've been in, we try to really ingratiate ourselves into the local community, and that's our advantage. How do you compete against Regal or Cinemark or AMC? They're these giant companies that can't really maneuver. They don't know what's going on in the market, what's happening and whatever. And so we try to talk to all of our retail customers, businesses that are around us. We're open to doing deals where maybe if you're a restaurant, we do Value Tuesday, maybe you discount your food a little bit and you get a movie ticket, and we do, movies and dinner. We try to really work with everyone in our communities because, it's not easy out there, right? I mean, inflation and a lot of things that have occurred here, and every dollar matters to consumers these days. And so if you're going to take a dollar from a consumer, or dollars, you better really make sure the experience is good and you have a good time and you enjoy the value, where someone comes out and says, oh my God, like the movie was great. That picture in IMAX was unbelievable. And the general manager said, when you leave, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your business. Please come again. And when you come out of Deerfield, there's a sign up there that says, thank you for coming. It's the old school stuff, right? It's customer service, and that's gotten lost with a lot of businesses today. And they take your money, but it's not a good experience, and that's bad.
Yeah. I must say, I never had a bad experience at any movie that I've been to in my life. The experience was always good, and I've been fortunate to you know,
That's
the
good.
customers
That's how it should be.
and everyone was good. I mean, like I said, I never had a bad experience at a movie theater so far yet, and I hope I
That's
don't.
how it should be. I mean, if anything that you forget about a movie theater, if you go out to a restaurant or a sporting event or anywhere you're taking your family, you want to make sure you know, we talked about safety, quality
Mhm.
product, cleanliness, the seats are in good shape. You want that experience because, you know, you work hard for your money, right? And you want to get value for it.
Will you be surveying your customers when you know, taking surveys to see what you can do better or
Absolutely.
how you can improve yourself?
Oh, yes, sir. We have secret shops. We have people do secret shopping and they do things and they test our management teams to make sure that you know, you train them right, but you want to make sure that they implement you know, the right stuff. And it's really hard to find good employees. I mean, out there, you know, I'm so happy. You know, when I started in this business, we were paying minimum wage for a lot of kids, you know, $8 and $9 an hour. We're well above that now, and I'm happy to pay the people, you know, what they deserve.
Mhm.
But it's still hard to find quality people. So we look really hard when we interview and train that we find sort of the right people that have some energy and are very customer friendly. But it's tough to find, not easy.
Mhm.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about Paragon Theaters that we don't know before we let you go?
Your
Is there anything you
partnerships,
want to, any partnerships?
Well, I want to thank you both for the time. I would love at some point if you guys wanted to host a podcast in our lobby. You know, I'm open to that as well. We'd love to have you come over. But I would just say, look, hey, give us a try. You know, we've been at this for a bunch of years at Paragon. We're very local. We're not owned by any. It's owned by myself and Mike Wilson. Well, you know, locally owned and operated, and give us a try. And if you do have a bad experience, we're not perfect, right? I'd like to hear about it because you only get better when when you find out what you're doing. But I think you'll enjoy it. I really believe Deerfield with IMAX and Luxbox. If you're gonna go see a movie and spend your money, come to Deerfield because it's the best movie going experience you're gonna get.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that offer. And believe me, we will take you up on it. We're gonna at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. Like when the summer movies,
Thunderbolt
is out in May, or Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch in Memorial Day weekend. I'd love to have you in our lobby come out and do a podcast for sure.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna take you up on that.
Love
we will
to
be
partner
glad
with you.
Yeah, we would be glad to come there, set up.
Meet and greet, the guests and all. And
all of
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It'll work for both of us.
We could interview them on the way in and see what they're going to see, and and is that first time there, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, we've been talking to Mr. Mike Whalen. He is the co-CEO and the co-owner of Paragon Theaters in Deerfield Beach, Coral Springs, and in Davie. They have 3 locations here in South Florida, and they may be opening up more.
One near you,
popping up all over the place. They're doing some amazing things here. They renovated the old theater out in the Deerfield Mall. So if you know what the Deerfield Mall is, if you're from Deerfield, if you're not, it's in the Deerfield Mall Plaza on the corner of Powerline Road and Hillsborough Boulevard in the Publix Plaza. It's in the southwest corner of the little plaza there, shopping plaza there. So and they're gonna have some matinee discounts, $2 to $3, $5 Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, you can go there for $5. There's going to be children discounts, and they have a Lux box seat, and it'll be $4 more than the usual price. I believe that's what you said. And they also have a screen that tilts 15 degrees towards the audience. So they have a lot of good stuff out there, and we've been hearing so much about these the pizza and the wings and the cold beer that's going to be coming. The pizza, the wings, that's going to be coming pretty soon. So if you're looking to take your kids out here, if you're still on spring break, there's a good place to start right there at the Paragon Theaters in Deerfield Beach. Mr. Mike Whalen.
And it is located at 3984 West Hillsborough Boulevard, Deerfield Beach, Florida, 334 442. One of our viewers said draft night. Let's talk.
Yeah, that's right.
See, there
Not
it
about
is.
draft
There it
night.
is.
Yeah. Are you on social media? If you are on social media, what are your
We
social
are
media?
ParagonTheaters.com, or we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that good stuff as well. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a number that they
Oh,
can
and
reach you
one
for?
last thing. Loyalty program. We love loyalty. I didn't bring enough about loyalty. We have an amazing loyalty program, Diamond Rewards, that if you go enough, and for instance, if you go 3 times,
Okay.
the time the ticket's free. So we have a great loyalty program as well that you want to check out. It has some great value to it, etc.
Okay. Do you
That's
have a number or email address that they could reach out to you at? You know, we're trying to give them all the ways that they can reach out to you if they want to have any further questions.
The best way, ParagonTheaters.com. There is a question there. You can ask questions in there, or come back to us or talk to us any way you want. But that's probably the best way to do it. But we do post some fun stuff on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And I just want to thank you guys again. I really, really appreciate the time. Truly appreciate
we love to have you back in the future.
Yeah.
And like you said, like we said earlier, we definitely gonna sit down with you and talk. So
yeah, come on out and we'll grab a beer and watch a movie together for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're gonna take you up on that offer.
No, we're gonna take you up on that. We promise you.
Please do.
Maybe we could get Commissioner Plott to come out there and join us, since he's been your biggest fan so far.
We should. I told him when he was at our grand opening with Sweet Dream Makers and all of that, and I said, yeah, we got to absolutely have him out there. He's been so supportive. Tom is a great guy. And he loves Deerfield Beach, and I love Deerfield Beach, and so we have something in common.
And I can't remember where, Mike, but I met you before. Here.
You look familiar. I didn't want to say something on the call.
I met you somewhere before. Wherever we were at, me and you had a conversation, but when I looked, you got the hat on, and I'm looking, I'm like, I know him. I met him somewhere. Me and him gonna talk. Me and you talk somewhere. I can't remember where it's at.
Maybe it could have been a Deerfield restaurant. I was down at Monty's and Flanagan's a lot, and Ocean 234. So I hang out a lot there. So maybe I saw you at a restaurant there.
Okay.
I have been to both of those places, but I saw you somewhere else. Me and you gonna talk, but it'll come to me now that I your face now. I recognize your face, but it'll come to me. But it's been awesome talking with you again. We've been joined by Mr. Michael Whalen, and he's one of the CEO and managing partners, if hopefully I'm saying it right.
Co-CEO and co-owner.
Co-owner of the IMAX Theaters, the Paragon. And go on out and check him out. Again, he's at 3984 West Hillsborough Boulevard, and that's Deerfield Beach 33442, and that's out in the Deerfield Beach Mall. Go out there and please check him out. Check the theater.
And Minecraft this week. Movie Minecraft's coming out. All the kids remember playing Minecraft. I know my kids did.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh yeah, it was one of the big video games and so forth. And Jack Black is in it, and it's supposed to be a pretty big movie. It opens up Friday, and it's of course in IMAX, so it's a good movie to see.
Yeah, but we're gonna bring our family out there one day to a movie.
Yes, we will. The movie.
Yeah, we're gonna bring our family out there. Bring all my mom, my dad, my nieces, and my nephews. We all gonna come out there one of these days, one day.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you, guys. I really, truly appreciate it, man.
We've been talking to Mr. Mike Whalen of Paragon Theaters. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Adams Brothers Podcast. You're welcome to come back on our show anytime, sir.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hang around, stick around. We're going to be right back in about 10 or 15 minutes with the Pop-Up Podcast, where we talk about anything. Stay tuned.
We're going to be definitely. We're going to be talking about the pastor. What his name is again? Marvin Sapp. Yeah. Pastor Marvin Sapp. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to just know what y'all think about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
because we've seen comments, people posts on Facebook. So come back and join us here in a few.
Yeah, we're going to take your calls, too, if you want to call in and talk about it.
You can call in and talk about it if you want. The call-in number is going to be on the tick at the bottom, so give us a few. We'll be right back.
That's right. 7 p.m. We'll be right back for a Pop-Up Podcast. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back soon.